Hallo zusammen! Today I'm gonna react to Xiao Ma, an American YouTuber who's making videos about Chinese and other foreign languages that he's learned throughout his life. He's lived in China for quite a while as well, and I really like his videos because they are somewhat surprising as well. Sometimes he speaks foreign languages or rare languages, and native speakers are really surprised that he is able to speak them so well. So it's really impressive. I like him a lot. And now he tried to learn German with Google Translate or with the Google Translator. Well, the more I think about it, actually, I could see fit that that might be a good opportunity to begin learning a language or to get a better feel for it. So let's check out how he did it. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, I'm sweating. I'm basically melting in here. You know, the things I do for videos. Zwei Dinge, two things before we're gonna start watching. First one is, well, I haven't watched it yet, so it's a blind reaction. And the second one is, well, I probably won't react to the whole video, the entire one, because you should have an incentive to check out the whole video too. You can find a link to it in the description and in the end card. So without further ado, let's start watching in 3, 2, 1, los.
All right, hello everybody, good morning. It's day one, and this week what we are going to be doing is learning German through Google Translate 100%. And by the end of the week on Friday, I've set up a call in German with my friend Anya from Learn German with Anya, who is a big German YouTuber. I haven't told her about this experiment, about what I'm doing. Given how good Google Translate has gotten, I thought it would be interesting to see if you can replace the entire edifice of language learning, the textbooks, the teachers, the courses, everything.
So my personal assumption as a native speaker and language teacher on YouTube would be, yes, by now you could definitely check out structures of the language and certain, you know, vocabulary, of course, phrasings, word order here and there with Google Translate, because it always amazes me how far we've come. And when I say we, of course, I mean humankind, the developers. When you think of Google Translate 10 years ago, yeah, no. In English, it might have had a great quality, but when it came to German and other languages, not so much yet. I'm personally really impressed by that, and not just by that, but also by people like him, Xiao Ma, who actually are so invested in learning languages and trying to analyze and decode basically a language's structure, how it works, you know, the inner works, the gear of a language, if that makes sense. I'm also very interested in different languages, foreign languages, how they work and how they differ from my native language, which of course is German.
So I've come up with a list of phrases that I want to learn each day. So I'm going to type in a phrase like, you know, I speak
That's a good strategy.
German. Ich spreche Deutsch. Google Translate has an audio function, so you just click on it.
Ich spreche Deutsch.
The audio function it was okay, but it wasn't really like dead on, you know? It could have been better. Ich spreche Deutsch. I mean, she sounded very bored. For the first, you know, nuances that you want to grasp, I think it definitely works.
Download the audio and putting it into a flashcard program called Anki, and we're going to see through a combination of memorizing the sentences and trying to learn the grammar naturally by like studying what the translations look like, seeing if I can get to a conversation in German. Look, I don't know if this is going to work, but probably I think like each day this week I want to spend at least an hour, so I have my whole German deck here as well, and I have the audio.
One important thing is you have to be patient when you want to learn a language, of course. That's the one thing that he's mentioned here. And the other thing is that he's also doing here is basically preparing different types of sentences or phrasings, you know, structures, expressions, exclamatory sentences, questions, ordinate clauses, subordinate clauses, complex sentences, easy sentences, right? You can't really go wrong too much at this point, at this stage of learning German and pretty much, you know, getting a feel for a language, which is, that's what it's all about here. So that is a clever method. Also downloading that, great idea, actually. You immediately notice that he has learned languages before and he sort of has a master plan, I'd say. That is really clever. Like that.
I learned German with Google Translate is ich habe Deutsch mit Google Translate gelernt. I think that's it.
Ich habe Deutsch mit Google Translate gelernt.
Ich habe Deutsch mit Google Translate gelernt.
Yeah, I had to laugh there. Because, the German pronunciation of English words always so dead on with Google Translate. Ich habe Deutsch mit Google Translate gelernt. You might have noticed that in habe, the E at the end, it doesn't really sound like a standard E, for instance, in German, an E. It's not habe, but it's habe. Those details are what really matter when it comes to speaking German, of course, and the differences between written and spoken German. I personally think catching those little details, that also does a lot of the work. You get a feel for, there are different types of verbalizations of letters, for instance, like the German E. It can be pronounced in many different ways. In this case, in habe, it's a pretty weak, unstressed E. That is what we call a schwa. And that is really common with many suffixes and endings of words.
Honestly, I don't know if this is going to be possible. I basically just don't know if, by the end of this week, I'm actually going to be able to speak German. I mean, I've never studied German before in my life. I have no idea what, the language is supposed to sound like. The only thing I have to go off of is Google Translate, which
Sprichst du Englisch?
isn't
Google Translate is killing me softly. Something that isn't optimal with this specific expression here, which is a question, of course. Do you speak English? Sprichst du Englisch? You might have noticed that I've raised my voice at the end of the question, which is typical. So it's not like she said actually, Sprichst du Englisch? It's Sprichst du Englisch? Okay, maybe Google Translate confused that and couldn't really tell if it's a question or just a part of a sentence because, there is no question mark, which would be das Fragezeichen, the question sign, translated literally.
It's day 5. I've been studying the whole morning, the whole week, getting ready for this event.
By the way, the skyline out there,
with a real live
awesome.
German speaker.
Love it.
In German, having only studied German through Google Translate. Will it blend? I don't know. Hello, Anya.
Hello. How are you, Eric?
Ich bin sehr nervös.
Gut. Sehr
Ja.
gut. Also ich meine, nicht, dass du nervös bist, aber gut ausgesprochen.
Oh, mein Aussprache ist gut?
Ja, war gut.
Oh,
auf jeden Fall.
danke.
Bitte.
Aber ich spreche so ersten Mal Deutsch.
Yeah, sorry, Anya, didn't want to stop there. Something that he has really picked up on, and that I love that he did that actually, and that he noticed that in the context of, for instance, saying sprechen, it's spelled SP at the beginning. So you could imagine it might be sprechen. This combination, S and P, and also S and T, S und T, S und P, they actually get pronounced like sp and st. So in this case, it's sprechen. It's not sprechen.
Meine Aussprache ist gut.
Ja.
And he did that perfectly.
Wirklich?
Heute.
Aha. Und wie hast du Deutsch gelernt?
Ich habe Deutsch diese Woche gelernt. Diese Woche, ja, jeden Tag. Jeden Tag ich habe Deutsch gelernt. Jeden Tag ich habe Deutsch gelernt.
Jeden Tag ich habe Deutsch gelernt. That is very similar to the English word order, the sentence structure. But in German it's different. So in German that would be jeden Tag habe ich Deutsch gelernt. Or ich habe jeden Tag Deutsch gelernt. The English wording and the word order, that doesn't really apply to German all that much in this case.
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Ja, ein bisschen.
Oh, ein bisschen, yeah.
The term bisschen, I guess that can be tricky for learners because there is the combination of S and CH, which usually is sh. So you could imagine it's ein bisschen, but it's not. It's ein bisschen. It's the light sound. In German, there are two sounds. One light one, for instance, in ich, I, and a low throaty one, for instance, in das Buch. But he did it really well once again. Sorry, I keep repeating myself there, but it's just great. Especially for learning, having learned 5 days so far with Google Translate only. Impressive.
Auf Wiedersehen, Anja, danke. Holy shit!
Wow. Well done. Mission accomplished. Achievement unlocked. By the way, Shama, in case you're seeing this at some point in your life, congrats for that challenge. Gonna be honest, it might not be something for everyone. But for instance, in this case, when your native language is Indo-Germanic, which is the case with English as well, and German, hooray, it's easier to catch up on things, right? To really notice similarities. Hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly did, because I'm always interested in that kind of stuff, how people learn a language, and of course, especially when it's German. Yeah, awesome. Also, of course, check out Anja. She's also very cool. Once again, sorry for, the melting in front of the camera. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm your Vlog Dave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.